Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas in January. I hope you're all doing well and having a nice Saturday. This is going to be a lot of fun. I haven't done that many live streams on Hallmark's podcast, but I do them quite a bit at Rachel's Reviews every couple weeks. And I'd like to do more. So let me know what you think and would love to hear your thoughts of this video, this live stream, and also of my ranking. I'm ranking all 77 holiday films that I saw in 2024. So that's going to be fun. And of course, yeah, I'd love to have your thoughts. And also, I have the chat room open, so you can definitely put your comments there. And also, we have the super chat if you feel so inclined and have a particular question you'd like me to answer. So there we go. And this hopefully, won't take over an hour. Hopefully, we get it done pretty quick. So, all right, let's do this. Let's dive in and start with the last one on my ranking. Let me had it up, but now I've lost it. Where is it? Sorry. I think overall it was a pretty solid season as far as Christmas movies go. There weren't that many that I hated. There weren't that many that I loved though. So it was a lot that were just fine. That were in the middle for me. Okay, I got it. At number 77 is Dear Santa. This is the Jack Black is the devil movie. I just found it very off-putting, and it wasn't funny enough to overcome its extremely uncomfortable premise. And that you have if it had been an adult, that would be one thing, but to have it be a child, a little boy, and he sells his soul to the devil so his parents won't get divorced, that was just, I hated that premise. And it certainly wasn't funny enough to overcome that very, very uncomfortable premise. And it was just, I really disliked watching it. So that is my number 77. Number 76, I have read one, and this was just so badly made. That's what surprised me with such a big budget, how bad the action looked, and a lot of time is spent on the action. And so you're just kind of watching this thinking, why does it look so terrible? It looked cloudy, it was hard to see the action, and again, a lot of time is spent on it, so that's a major problem. And it certainly wasn't charming enough or funny enough. Characters didn't have chemistry enough. It was just a huge dud as far as I was concerned. And really, The Rock has begun to lose me. I really didn't like Black Adam, and I'm very annoyed he's making this Moana live action remake. And it's just some of the behavior that I've heard from him has started to make him less endearing than he was for me. Okay, number 75, I have Leah's Perfect Gift. This was the lowest of the Hallmark movies for me. I think the biggest problem is that Barbara Niven's character was not behaving reasonably, and she wasn't funny over the top, and so it was just uncomfortable. And I just don't believe that a woman trying to make an impression on she loves her son. She's trying to make an impression on this woman that her son has brought, and that she would make such a fuss over this perfectly reasonable ornament. It's not like it was flashing lights or something that she wasn't feeding her children. That's not funny over the top. That's just awkward and weird. And it was really, really bad. The way that it talked about Hanukkah, the way it talked about the way it talked about her desire to celebrate Christmas, did not feel authentic or funny or real. They had okay chemistry, but the whole premise and the writing was very poor on this one, unfortunately, for me at least. Number 74 is where I have Unwrapping Christmas, Tina's Miracle. This one was definitely the weakest of these unwrapping movies. It's a shame because it's the first one. So I think a lot of people probably were like, why am I don't want to watch this because the first one wasn't good. I like Natalie and Alec. I think that they both been on the podcast, enjoyed both of them. And they're both talented and charismatic and have a lot to offer. It was the script for this one, and particularly anything involving the daughter was just awkward, and that they didn't want to say autism for some reason. They just call it dyslexia, but it didn't like fit dyslexia, and it was just this one wasn't good. 73, I have a sudden case of Christmas. I think this has a good intention. I mean, all of these do, Christmas movies, but I think they were trying to make something about, help this girl out with divorcing parents and be positive but it just was boring. This one was boring. It I could see how it was sweet, but just the story just didn't do it for me. The little girl was cute, but yeah, it just was a lot of like shenanigans at the hotel. So 72 was 5 gold rings. This one I barely remember. I just was completely bored, not interested in the hunt for these rings. What was going on with the rings? I remember thinking that the leads were fine. But Holland Redden, I don't think she's not really doing it for me. She hasn't wowed me in any of her Hallmark roles yet, and I didn't really love her character in Holidays. So I don't know. She's not quite. I need her to have a sugar plum like Maggie Lawson did. You'll see that's much higher, because so far I'm just not loving her in these Hallmark movies that she's been doing. Okay, 71 was My Sweet Austrian Holiday. This was definitely one of the most disappointing of the year, if not the most disappointing, because I really do love these leads, and I was so confident that it would be watchable, that it would be decent, that I scheduled Lasse, my friend, podcaster and friend. I scheduled him to come and recap this and do a solo episode on it, which was a mistake because I usually don't do solo episodes on movies I'm not a fan of or more lukewarm on. And so, but I'd already scheduled it and we couldn't really combine anything else with him because he doesn't have Hallmark, or it was too hard. So I tried the best to have it not be a pile on and to be positive in the episode, but it was definitely a bummer. You could tell that not very much of it was actually shot in Austria, in Vienna. There were very few scenes in Vienna. A lot of it was stock footage in Vienna. It was such a standard save the store, plot, and there was very little that was like about Vienna, Austrian culture. And whereas like Heidelberg Holiday the year before, that was so good about showing the actual Heidelberg market and the various traditions and the family, and she was there for like 9 weeks, and it was just so much better. And this was just not good enough. This felt like something that they would make into like 2015, 2016. And maybe because Countdown to Christmas was kind of new, this would be fine, but it's not. And, we've had a whole decade of Christmas movies now, and it needs to be better than this. And both these leads definitely deserve better. It was fun having Catherine Disher in this one. That did help, but it was disappointing. I really wanted it to be better, especially because we had that special episode planned. So that was a bummer. A Carpenter Christmas Romance is my number 70. This was the steamy movie on Lifetime. But the problem with both of the steamy Christmas movies that Lifetime has done is they haven't been fun. They've been very serious, and this was, he's like living with all this guilt about what happened in the town, and is he going to be able to deal with it? And there's a second chance romance. They were fine, the leads, but it just was kind of a slog because you're supposed to take all this so seriously, and I don't know. I just wish that I'm all for some more steamy Christmas movies, and I think that's a smart way for Lifetime to go, but they need to be more fun. This is just boring because I'm not it's hard to be invested in this drama to me. Number 69, I have Engaged by Christmas. This is another with Brittany Bristow. But it was more entertaining because she is crazy. Like her character was nuts. Like the way that she expected everybody to like fall in line with her and make this blog and everything that she was doing a success, and that she was basically blackmailing the Marcus Rosner character, and she was gonna tell that he was the Adora, I think is what it was called, and so yeah, she basically kind of is tricking him into falling in love with her, and you don't understand why the fiance at the beginning, why he was in love, why was he in this relationship at all, and you completely understand why he broke it off with her, because she's just a lot. She was crazy, but a little bit entertaining in how nuts her character was. So 68, I have This Time Each Year, and this did have some nice moments. There were some like nice moments where like they were dancing or talking or trying to make their relationship better. But the whole thing that they were afraid to talk about the DUI, and they kept referring to it as he'd had his license removed, was really strange. And the fact that he would still be working at a bar is like that is unbelievable. You know, uh they would have him doing other stuff like cleaning or doing they would not have him running the bar if he'd had something like that just happen. And so yeah, that was hard, but they did have pretty decent chemistry, and I appreciate them like trying to tell a different kind of story. They just need to be, if they're going to commit to it, they need to commit to it, and they need to go all the way with it. So that's where it ended up. 67, I have Unwrapping Christmas, Mia's Prince. And this had some fun moments with, I love Catherine Davis and Nathan Vitti. They're great. And the chemistry was okay, but you're supposed to buy this crazy relationship that he's already in this fake relationship, and it's like, how long was he planning on keeping this up? What was he doing? And it was too much. It was too much. But I do like these two actors a lot. I wish that Catherine could get better roles in Hallmark movies, because she's so good. Sandra's Got Style, Christmas on Fifth Avenue. She's absolutely great, but I feel like having bad luck in Hallmark projects. And this one it was just, the whole premise was just too much. It was too stupid. 66, I have Happy Holidays. Everybody else like really hated this. I thought it was like basic. Like it's cute, these dogs, but he was like unreasonable because she's returning the dog that she rescued. But why would he want her to have the dog if she doesn't want to have the dog? Like, you'd want to have people that want dogs to have dogs, not someone especially a big dog like that. Like, that's a lot to take on. But so his like surliness didn't really make sense to me. But like, once the relationship started, like, it was fine. Nothing special, but average, I would say, Hallmark movie for this one. And I'm very curious to know the timeline on this thing. I want to know, when they did Finding Mr. Christmas, if they already had Jessica cast or if they cast her after, because I do think that they made sense together. He's not the greatest actor in the world, but he can grow, and he can get better. But I just feel like, okay, maybe that would make sense if they were looking for somebody to match with Jessica. But if they had cast him first and then cast Jessica to match him, I would love to know. If anyone out there in Hallmark world knows, I would love to know. Okay, 65, I have Falling Like Snowflakes. This was one of the Christmas in July movies. And this is one of your Hallmark movies where the lead has a quirky job, and that's definitely the case here with her being a snowflake photographer, and and so yeah, she was okay. I liked her friend even better. But this was a basic standard Hallmark movie, and the little girl was cute. It was like, if you want to watch a Hallmark movie with somebody with a quirky job, then this is like fine. Okay, so then I have Meet Me Next Christmas at 64. This was Netflix, and uh this was okay. I don't mind the story, and I like Christina Milian, but I just found the guy that they had her, zipping around the city, the end love interest. I found he was very flat and wooden in his acting, and so that was tough, and so yeah, it wasn't the best. uh Sorry, I should respond to something here. Yeah, I just found that he was very flat in his acting, and that hurt the chemistry, that hurt the movie. It just made it not as good. So 63, I have Sincerely Truly Christmas. This was on Lifetime. Jake Epstein, he's somebody who's so charming, but he has, I think, pretty bad luck with his holiday films. There's not many that I have liked. In fact, he's done some that I really disliked, like his Mistletoe and Menorahs. That is a terrible movie where the two are the two are explaining each other's holidays to each other as if like they have no experience with anything that's like real with these holidays, that I have no idea what a Christmas tree is. I have no idea. Like that one was really, really bad. I wasn't a fan of Eight Gifts Hanukkah. um Wedding Contract I didn't like. Sincerely Truly Christmas. Yeah, he's had a bad run. It's not good. So I don't know what it is. It's unlucky because he's got such charisma. Why does he keep getting these bad projects? I don't know. This one, I remember almost nothing about it. There was this like pop star that they had to get this record from. It was fine, but like no chemistry between these two. And so that was a problem. 62 is To Have and To Holiday. This did have some like comedic moments that I think worked okay. It was definitely better than Leah's Perfect Gift, with like the demanding father. I did not buy for a second that they just because the chapel is going under construction, that she would have to move up her wedding that she just gotten proposed to in 3 weeks. That didn't make sense, and I didn't think the two had very good chemistry. It had its moments. It was okay, but not great. It felt like an acquisition, even though people told me in the comments that it's not an acquisition. So go figure. Okay, let's see here. Number 61, I have The Holiday Junkie. This was Lifetime. Jennifer Love Hewitt. And she's actually there with her real life husband, Brian Hallisey. They did not have very good chemistry in the grand tradition of real life couples in holiday films. But this one, like, I appreciate that it tried to handle some like darker, some harder themes with grief and loss and things like that. But it just felt pretty generic. A holiday movie. I can't remember that much about this one, to be honest. But I just remember feeling they didn't have that great a chemistry, and it was a very basic story for The Holiday Junkie. So 60, I have Holiday Crashers. And this one I'm kind of bummed because I like that they were thinking outside the box on this one. You have these two girls that are crashing. the parties. And when they were crashing the parties, I was enjoying it pretty well until they got then the story changes. They go up to Aspen, and you have to buy that this woman is going to lie that she is a doctor and attorney, which would be a felony. Like, you would never do that. And so it just made the whole lie reveal and the whole like it was too much, and it wasn't funny enough, even though I liked the cast. So that one didn't work for me. 59, I have Unwrapping Christmas, Lily's Destiny. This one was the Ashley Newbrow one. Uh, it was pretty cute, like between her and Torrance Coombs, and they're like back and forth, and she thinks that he's married, turns that he's not married. It was cute, but nothing like amazing. Now we're getting into the ones that like I'm pretty much mostly liked. This next like 58 next group. Okay, 58. I have 'Tis the Season to Be Irish. This is a very basic Hallmark movie, but it was pleasant. I like both the leads. They had decent chemistry. You know, got to see a lot of Ireland. It was so obvious was not filmed in the winter. They didn't really even try to make it wintry or snowy, which was a little strange. It didn't even, it barely felt like a Christmas movie to me. But it was fine. I enjoyed it well enough. Number 57 is Deck the Walls. This had some of the most egregious product placement of the year. This was the Nutella. That was hilarious. And Home Goods. I liked almost the side relationship with her brother better than the Wes Brown and her relationship, but it was like serviceable. And this was like a very standard Hallmark movie with the city girl coming back to the country and everything. But it was watchable, I think. But I liked the brother and his relationship even better than her relationship, and their relationship was pretty good, so it was watchable. 56, I have Christmas Eve in Miller's Point, and this is a feature film that I saw. Excuse me. It's a feature film that I saw, and this has lots of good vibes. It's it's very comforting and very nostalgic about this family, and they're on Long Island, and they're celebrating Christmas, and it's got Michael Cera in it, and most of the other acting was, I thought, weak, and like it had a nice feel. I can see why some people really enjoyed this movie. It definitely had a good feel and a good family spirit, but like there was very little story here and not enough really for me to be engaged. I didn't hate it by any means, but I just wish that they'd had like a little bit more story for our characters. I think the Loaves and Fishes Feast of the Fishes movie from a couple years ago, that was better than this, a very similar concept. Okay, then at 55, I have Debbie McCumber's Joyful Mrs. Miracle. This was like pretty good, like the dynamics between the siblings. I don't think that Mrs. Miracle needed to be in this movie. Like, it was just kind of strange the way she was always sort of there, and I didn't think that her additions were magical enough, or it was like they decided last minute, okay, let's make this a Mrs. Miracle movie, and it didn't make sense to have. I thought Rachel Boston was an odd choice for Mrs. Miracle, but like the sibling dynamic was like pretty well done. I mean, I didn't really care who ran this company, like that wasn't very interesting to me, but like the interpersonal relationships between the siblings, that was pretty good. But yeah, I didn't love this one. Maybe I actually should probably have that a little bit lower, but anyway. it had its moments. 54 is where I have Christmas Under the Lights. These two were very swoony, and I do appreciate that that they had a little bit of a twist on the girl from the city coming back home storyline. That it's like, okay, well, we're going to move to Seattle. That's going to be our compromise. We're not going to be in LA. We're going to be in Seattle. that was kind of funny. But they were very swoony together. They had great chemistry. And I think the whole thing with her feelings about her mother, and also having Antonio Cajon as her brother, that was all pretty good, pretty well done. It was a little boring for me, this one, but I think it was pretty good. Okay, 53 is Private Princess Christmas. I know a lot of people really didn't like this movie, but like I thought it was serviceable. I like the fact that they made it basically like a camp. They weren't like trying to make this a real boot camp. Like this was, they had other celebrities there and others, like that made it a lot more realistic, and that I wasn't constantly being like, why are they doing this at boot camp? Because it was just like a little camp for her. I liked Derek Klena. He is extremely attractive, and I didn't really need them to fall in love. Like they didn't have really that much chemistry, but like it had enough sort of funny moments. And I thought for the princess, maybe low expectations helped with this one. I don't know. 52, I have The Snow Sister. This was a Norwegian film that was on Netflix, and it's beautifully made, beautifully shot. If you're looking for something that's like a little more melancholy in the holiday movie season, this was a good choice. It's about this boy who's lost his sister, and his whole family's in grieving, and he meets this girl who's kind of a manic pixie dream girl, but she's got like her own backstory and her own trauma, and that we find out about. But it was a beautiful movie, beautifully filmed, beautifully made, and I think pretty effective for what it was trying to be, if you want something a little bit more dramatic. 51, I have Believe in Christmas. And this, we have a couple in real life, but they did have chemistry. And the concept is fun, about this Christmas land that they the concept is fun about this Christmas land that the whole village is pretending, and where does the pretending stop, and is the real life relationship. Like I had enough fun with that idea, and I like that they didn't make it this like outrage, and they didn't, and I think they actually improved upon the book, which I did not like this book at all that it was based on, but yeah, it was cute. I didn't mind this one. Okay, 50, I have Trading Up Christmas. I I really love both these leads, especially Michael Xavier, but I don't think that they had that great of chemistry. But the concept was really cute, of her like trying to trade up to this house for her sister, and each of the different trades falling along the way. I think was a fun idea for a Christmas movie, and everybody was kind of likable enough. This was enjoyable enough. Okay. 49 is All I Need for Christmas. This one was bonkers. Like the way that these two people, the siblings, were treated by their parents was like out of a horror movie. It was crazy. I was not really interested in Mallory Jensen's story at all. I didn't really care about her being upset about this app or her complaints about her career. Her song wasn't that great, but everything with Dan Jeannotte and Emily Tennant was, I thought, quite good. And I was just watching it kind of in disbelief that they were that they were doing this in a Hallmark movie, because it was dark. That was a fun recap with Liz Johnson, I thought, when we were talking about this movie, because it was so bizarre. It was so bizarre. 48, I have BB Winans' We Three Kings. This is another family drama, but I think pretty well done. The conflict between these sisters, and of course the music was all really good. And so this was a pretty good one from Lifetime this year, I would say. 47, A Bluesgrass Christmas. This is pretty basic for your, save the farm, I think it was. They start to run together a little bit. Yeah, it's the horse sanctuary. Yeah. Horse sanctuary on the brink of closure. And you've got some good music, some pretty decent performances. I like David Pinnard. I think he's good. This was basic, but fine. If you want one of those. Okay, 46 is Our Little Secret. This was the Lindsay Lohan movie. I don't think that they spent enough time together or really had that good a chemistry, but I liked the humor, and I thought the writing was actually pretty good. And as far as like the banter between all the different characters and their back and forth, and people like Christian Chenoweth really like working to make this movie work. And it's not one I like recommended on Rotten Tomatoes, but it did have its moments, I think, with the banter and the writing. But they didn't have a good enough chemistry. They didn't spend enough time together. You didn't buy the ending at all. So as a romance, I think it's not very good. As like a family comedy, I think it's okay. 45 is Where I Have Trivia at St. Nick's. This was a hard one to rank because I had a lot of fun watching it, even though I don't think it's really very good, because she's like a crazy person. Like, how intense she is about this trivia and the way she treats people was just bizarre. And I think you could do like a riff tracks to this one like really well. And you don't get that often in Hallmark movies. They're usually, if they're bad, they're usually just boring. And this one was not boring. This one was bizarre. And when she compares Santa Claus to when she compares dark matter to Santa Claus, I died laughing. That was so funny. And I'm just picturing the poor beleaguered writer who had to write that line about dark matter in Santa Claus. She was completely unreasonable and ridiculous, but so much so that it was actually a little bit funny to me. It leaned into the humor, which I did appreciate. 44, A Very Vermont Christmas. This was another one of our Christmas in July movies. This is totally basic. The brewery's going out of business and we have to save it. And second chance romance, but the leads were pleasant. Overall, it was actually filmed in the snow, and it had like filmed in winter, you could tell. So it was fine. This one, basic, fine. Number 43, A Novel Christmas. This was on Up TV. The children's book author, and she's there, and the little girl was pretty cute. And you got the single dad, and they had like okay chemistry. Yeah, they're all this about publishing and writing, and it was okay. I have that at 43. 42, I have 'Twas the Date Before Christmas. This was a fun concept, bringing this date, the online date, basically like a fake dating situation. And they have this Christmas Olympics that were a lot of fun to see the different events they came up with. Excuse me. I like both these leads. They had like pretty decent chemistry. So yeah, this was pleasant. I enjoyed this one. I don't think they needed the save the store element in this one, and there was nothing. He didn't need to be both the bad guy and then the guy who saves the store. There was enough going on. There was enough conflict. I don't think they needed that element, but it was fun. 41, Scouting for Christmas. I have this one higher than most people, I think. But I thought it was cute. I thought everything with the little girl was cute. I thought their dynamic, kind of will they, won't they, and the little girl trying to get them together was pretty cute. They didn't have like amazing chemistry, so I can see that. And it was a little boring, but I did love JC as the like busybody lady in the Girl Scouts. Basically, she was, I thought, really funny and elevated that for me. Having her ex come back was grown worthy. That wasn't great, but I thought it was okay. 40 is The Finish Line. This was the sledding movie with Kim Matula and Bo Murkoff. He's supposed to be a journalist, but they end up becoming. She ends up even using one of his dogs, as I recall. And this one had a lot of Finnish culture, which I appreciated. And like even had some action, like when she helps that guy off the cliff, like that was pretty fun. So they tried some things with this one. It wasn't very Christmassy. I think it gives it a little bit of a downgrade. Not that Christmassy, but it was still overall, it was fun. It was pleasant. 39 is where I have Unwrapping Christmas, Fiona's reunion. Oh, Livia's reunion. Sorry, Livia's reunion. This was Sydney Busby's one. I think it's the best of the four. And it does have Jake Epstein, so I guess this was a bit of a win for him because he said some bad ones. But the forced proximity of this cabin and having to get along together, and them end up realizing that they were in love. I thought that was all pretty fun. I enjoyed it, and so yeah, I have it at 39. 38, I 38, I have Our Holiday Story. This, it was kind of nice because you got like the dual story of their meeting and falling in love and miscommunications and everything like that, with also the daughter and her boyfriend falling in love in their story. And really well, everybody was very good in this. Warren Christie, Nikki DeLoach, Lisa DeRue, Sydney Scotia, who we had on the pod. She's great. So it had a good cast. This is fairly basic, but it was very pleasant, and there loved fruitcake in this movie. But this was very Christmassy and very, very, sweet and fun. So I enjoyed it. 37 is Holiday Mismatch. This, you've got the busybody ants. I think it was ants. Anyway, that are trying to they are trying to break up this couple, but the couple's actually just fake dating. I don't remember this one super well, but I remember thinking this one was fun. I like Carolyn Ray and Beth Broderick together. They were good. So yeah, I don't remember that much about that one. 36, The Reason for the Season. I do think both these actors were too old for these roles. She's supposed to be just getting her, having like her first kind of job, it seems like. And she's just she won't get her, not severance, her, oh my gosh, her trust fund. She won't get her trust fund, which seems like a problem. Like a mom would do what she does way earlier, not when like Taylor Cole's turning 40, like that doesn't make any sense. But nevertheless, I still thought it was overall a pretty sweet movie, and the flashback at the beginning, and connecting with the town, and their stories, and her trying to help them, and the relationship. I thought that her and Kevin McGarry had pretty good chemistry. So overall, it was pleasant. And I liked with her mom, and then the head of the diner. That was cute. So that's where I have it. 35 is where I have Nutcrackers. This is a feature film with Ben Stiller. He ends up having to take care of his nieces and nephews, and it's the shenanigans. They end up putting on this nativity play pageant, and he thinks that he is terrible with kids, and what he learns kind of about himself through taking care of these kids. I thought it was really sweet, and as somebody who had much younger siblings, I could connect with that pretty well, so I liked it. 34 is Confessions of a Christmas Letter. This was definitely like very bonkers, ridiculous, this movie, but I kind of liked it for that aspect of it. That kind of joked that it's like he was joining a cult. The Christmas, it was bonkers and funny, and I liked that aspect of it. He ends up fake dating this this woman, and the whole idea that you'd be sort of judged by the town for your Christmas letter is ridiculous. But I guess it was ridiculous enough to be funny to me. And I liked, of course, Angela Kinsey, Lillian Doche Roche was great, and Alex Santos also really fun. So this one was nutty, but in a good way, I think. 33 is where I have Christmas in the Spotlight. This was from Lifetime. This was their Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce fan fiction movie. And it was pretty entertaining. I think Irene Donahue did everything she could with the script to elevate it and make it better than it had any right to be. It was super cheesy, super corny, but of course it is. That's what you expect. But they had pretty good chemistry. I liked him. He was very like awkward in an appealing way, kind of a nerd for a jock kind of character. He was very appealing. It was better than it had any right to be. I think Christmas in the Spotlight. 32 is where I have The Merry Gentleman. This is our big Netflix supposed to be spicy Gentleman's Club Christmas movie, Magic Mike for Christmas. And I do think that Chad Michael Murray was like having way more fun in this than he has in most of his other rom-coms, which he's just been, I think, phoning it in, like just had no chemistry. No, it just didn't feel like for a lot of them that he was trying very hard. This, it felt like he was trying and that he was having a good time and there was just more energy to his performance. And it was like, it's a very, save the club, the bar storyline. We've seen a million times, but it was enough of a fresh thing with the Gentleman's Club, and that whole thing was fun enough that I enjoyed it. Okay, 31 is where I have a 90s Christmas, and this we've got our girl going back to the 90s, and they could have used even more 90s nostalgia in the movie for being in the 90s. They could have had even more, but it was still pretty fun. And the ending doesn't really make sense, like how she wasn't present for the birth of her children or for her, like it makes no sense, but whatever. It was cute, and Cat Barrel was cute, and she was kind of the angel of it all. And so this one, I thought it was pleasant. 30 is Hanukkah on the Rocks. This is a pretty good Hanukkah movie. I liked the whole atmosphere of this pub, and that she gets this break from working. She gets fired from her job, but really she gets like a break from her job, and that's been consuming her life, and kind of gets a whole new thing. And I thought Mark Summers was actually pretty good in the movie, and it was enjoyable. I liked it. 29 is where I have the Santa Claus. Another one I thought was fun. I liked the real Santa element. I liked the scene where they crashed that party and they're dancing. That was fun. I don't really like the arc for her character that much, because it seemed like she wasn't happy, and she didn't really want to run the school. So why is she in the end still running the school? Like, it seemed like it wasn't really that happy of an ending for her. I don't know. It was a little bit strange, but it was pleasant. I enjoyed it. Paul Campbell was hilarious in that one, and so that was great. 28 is where I have Holiday Touchdown, Chiefs Love Story. For somebody who doesn't watch any football or know anything about football, this was, I think, about as good as they could have done with this. The writing, the actors were charming. The family, I think, dynamic was the most important part, and the hat was just sort of symbolic of their love for each other as a family. That was very nice. I watched this again. It was very enjoyable. Okay. now we're in, so 27. I have the Christmas Quest. Great chemistry between Palaha and Lacey. Really a fun adventure along the way. I liked all the clues, and seeing all these sites in Iceland was really fun. And I think that I would see more of the two of them together. The only thing that was a little bit of a bummer of this one was the ending, that it's just like this cave of junk. I didn't really like that. That why would people be like guarding it, and there'd be like a secret society for this cave of junk? I don't know. Like I didn't love that ending, but pretty much everything else I enjoyed. 26 is Operation Nutcracker. This was another one over Christmas in July. Movies, I really liked this. I thought it had a fun energy to it. The like following where the bag ended up, and what was the shenanigans with all of that. I think it's as charming as Ashley and Chris have been in a long time. And yeah, it had like a fun uh comedic energy that seemed to be inspired by like What's Up Doc and that kind of thing. You don't see that kind of comedy that often in Hallmark, so I enjoyed that. 25 is actually where I have the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's always fun to see the parade, and especially because I love seeing the Broadway performances that are there, which is, you don't get to see Broadway that often on television. So that's something I always look forward to. 24 is the Christmas Charade. And I really enjoyed this. They didn't have like the most amazing chemistry, but I liked the whole concept. And turns out her parents are actually spies. That was fun, and the action, and so I liked the whole like fancy party and how great they both looked, and so that was fun. 23 is where I have Deck the Halls Cherry Lane. I liked all three of these Cherry Lane movies. This one was my least favorite. It had the whole pretending to be uh, this fake relationship between Ben Hollingsworth and Chelsea Hobbs, but I thought it was very strange that he had Kurt, that it seemed like they were in more than just a friendship relationship. I always thought that was weirdly handled, and they didn't really give Kurt anything to do. I was like, why is he even in this movie? It was strange. But I liked the second chance, the friends to lovers arc for Brooke and Sam, their character. That was fun. And the Aaron Cahill, John Brotherton was cute too. So overall, I enjoyed it. 22 is where I have Season's Greetings from Cherry Lane. This one, you've got the Jonathan Bennett. He finds the grandfather of his husband, and schedules this whole surprise, and that was fun. I liked everything but the 1950s relationship. 1951 was just odd. I thought the portrayal of the housewife character, the way she needed to be like protected from everything, like she was incapable of doing anything. It was odd, but other than that, I did enjoy it. 21 is where I have Mary, and this was on Netflix, and it definitely isn't like it definitely takes some risk and has some interesting choices for that some people won't like, but I liked it. I thought that it did a good job sort of developing Mary and Joseph's characters, and you have Anthony Hopkins playing Herod. So I thought it was an interesting take on the Christmas story. Okay, now we're in the top 20. So at 20, I have Jingle Bell Run. This was pretty clever to do this like Amazing Race kind of story, and I I didn't really like the liar reveal aspect of it, and that that part. But I don't know that they had like amazing chemistry, but I like both these leads so much, and following them through the different steps on the race was a lot of fun, I thought. 19 is Happy Holidays. It's Cherry Lane. This was the best of the three, I think. I I I liked all three stories. It was particularly fun to see how Catherine Bell and James Denton, their characters, met, because we saw him propose in the last one. Here we get to see them, how they met, and you don't have their annoying children as much. So this was better than their previous one. But I liked all three of these relationships. It was in the whole idea of the time capsule, that was fun, with Ben Ayres and that little boy. That was cute. Okay. 18, I have Christmas with the Sings. I think that they did this family drama about as well as you could do it. It made sense. Like, they're both wanting to please their new families, trying to make everything work. Their chemistry was really good. This is not my favorite kind of holiday film, but I thought they did a very good job with it, and it was a good script. 17 is Where I Have a Dance in the Snow. I like this mother-daughter dynamic, and I like the fact that both of them got their own relationships, and that was sweet. And yeah, overall, even though they're planning two parties, I still enjoyed it. 16 is Where I Have a Carol for Two. I loved all the music, of course. The Cyrano Bergerac kind of aspect was really fun. The cousin was a little bit annoying, a little bit too much, but I still overall thought it was sweet. Enjoyed it. 15 is Where I Have Brenda Lee Rockin' Around, and this was on American Masters on PBS about Brenda Lee. I had no idea that she was 13 when she sang "Rock Around the Christmas Tree," and I had no idea how famous she really was. That she was like top level for quite a while. And so that was just interesting to learn. You hear that song so often. It was in Home Alone and everything, of course. And so that was interesting and something different for this season. So that was cool. Number 14 is Where I Have Sprinkle of Christmas. So this is basically, you have this woman, she runs this bakery, and you have him putting in a negative review, and then she responds, and they start this back and forth. And I thought that banter was actually pretty well done, and what I could imagine being like pretty authentic to how that would kind of go back and forth. And they don't know that they like know each other, or and so you've got that dynamic, and it's cute. I liked it. I thought that was one of the more underrated of this season. 13 is Where I Have That Christmas. I really enjoyed the animation. The different stories were really cute. And I thought they did a pretty good job, combining all these stories together, as Richard Curtis is one to do. And it was fun that we had Simon Otto, the director, on the pod, and Sari did that interview. So I thought it was sweet. 12 is Where I Have Mistletoe Murders. This is a miniseries, but it is on Letterboxd, so I put it in here. I think that it was smart to have the three different cases that we see. There was definitely like enough Christmassy to make it, you get the feels. I liked the guest stars that they had. Really liked Kylie Evans playing Brooke. She was really good. I thought the two leads had pretty good chemistry. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. So yeah, I liked it, and I'll be very curious to see how they do a follow-up. I know there's the podcast, but podcasts, you don't like, are they gonna wait until next year to do a follow-up, and then what will they say happened in the following 9 months? You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be interesting to see. Okay, because it's going to be set, because if they don't have it wait 9 months, then it will be set after Christmas, so it wouldn't be Mistletoe Murders, and it wouldn't be Christmassy. You know what I'm saying? So they have to go to the next Christmas, but then what happens to these characters in between that time? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. 11, I Have Three Wiser Men and a Boy. I actually liked this a little better than the original, and I really liked the original. I I just liked the whole dynamic with Pastor Roy and them trying to kind of deal with that, and then putting on this play was fun. And it didn't have sort of the ridiculousness of of the of the baby like that the first one had. So I liked it. I thought it was a nice brother dynamic between them, and seeing these characters grow. And like I said, they're trying to put on this play and dealing with their feelings about Pastor Roy. So there we go. Number 10, I have The Night Before Christmas in Wonderland. I love the animation here, and I thought the whole concept of combining the lores of Santa Claus with Wonderland was very clever and creative. And so, yeah, this is a good one that I think a lot of people missed. Number 9 is Christmas on Call. I really liked their dynamic. I thought they had nice chemistry. Thought this one was very well written. I loved all the little side relationships. The two officers were so fun. And they really created a community with this in this hospital, which was nice. Number 8, I have Santa Tell Me. I really thought this was well written. I liked the dynamic between I liked the dynamic of Aaron having to choose between these 4 guys. They could probably have had 3. I think that might have been a little better, but I still liked them. They were fun, and her and Daniel obviously have nice chemistry together. So that I enjoyed. I'm losing my voice. Number 7 is Oh Come On, All Ye Faithful. This was the Simpsons special for this season, and I really enjoyed it. They had Ned Flanders having a crisis of faith, and basically all of the Springfield gathering together to try to help Ned through this. And it really rang true to me. I thought it was very heartfelt and very sweet, and of course funny. And so yeah, it was a lot better than I expected it to be. And I mean, I love The Simpsons, but this I think you could enjoy it even if you didn't love The Simpsons, because it was just so heartfelt. Okay, number 6 is where I have Hot Frosty. This one was just fun. I enjoyed the whimsy of it and the humor, the fish out of water comedy. I liked it more at the beginning when it was more just unabashedly a silly comedy than when it tried to like be more sentimental at the end. But I still had a great time with it and enjoyed it. Number 5, I have The 5-Year Christmas Party. I really just thought this nailed the whole dynamic of being a creative and the struggles from year to year and how hard it can be and how you want to share this thing with the world, but people don't necessarily want it, and how frustrating that can be, and how you can get so excited for one gig and then it not pan out the way you'd hoped. And I don't know, I just thought it was so well written in that regard. And I liked seeing their relationship grow over the different years. I liked the fact that she watches Christmas movies for comfort. Usually you don't see that watching them by herself. She spent holidays by herself, which is like unheard of. And I don't know, I really loved it. So number 4, I have Following Yonder Star. I loved this movie. I thought it was like such a classic Hallmark movie. The scene at the beginning was so smart because it really endeared you to her. You're rooting for her. She's not like some high and mighty celebrity. Like you just feel so bad for her, and that helped bring you through the entire movie. And I thought that the faith elements were simple, but they were very effective to me. I really liked him, the way that he prayed, the way he was just sort of talking out loud to God. I thought that was really beautiful and lovely. And their chemistry was really good. I loved the whole snowball thing. I loved everything that she learned with the play. I don't think she needed to come up and be in the play, but as a small quibble, I think if you want a classic, well done Hallmark movie with great chemistry and big heart, this is a great example of that. Number 3 is where I have An Almost Christmas Story. This was the animated short on Disney Plus. And it's very cute. It's about this little owl that gets stuck in the Rockefeller tree, and it's sent to New York, and he ends up making friends with this little girl. I thought it was adorable, and there's such a grand tradition of animated shorts at the holidays, and this is definitely in that tradition, which I appreciate. I loved the animation, and the voice acting was really good. It was special. My number two is Sugar Plumbed. I just loved this. I thought it was so funny. All of the rules and all Janelle Parrish was so good in this sort of. She was basically Giselle in Enchanted or Buddy and Elf. You know, that kind of role. Her innocence, her sweetness. You know, that everything that surprises her, like when she goes shopping for something can't be sold out, you know, and all that. So cute. And the way that it was a family story and also a friendship story between these two women, really nice. And I just loved it because I loved all the rules, and it was so funny. And yeah, so that's what I have at two. My number one, it has to be the best Christmas pageant ever. I absolutely loved this movie. I loved the story. It really focuses on what is most important about Christmas. And so few of these holiday films actually do. But that I loved the Herdmans and their response to hearing the Christmas story for the first time, and they're shocked by it and horrified by it, and they can't believe that anyone would treat these people this way, the way that Mary and Joseph are treated. And I thought that was so refreshing and beautiful, and I loved all the performances, and I just thought it was so moving, but it still had humor and so well directed. I With great kid acting. I just thought it was a special movie that I'll be wanting to watch year in and year out. It was one of my favorite just movies of the whole year, not even just Christmas movies. It was the best Christmas pageant ever. It's special. So there we go. That is my number one. And so there you go. 77 Christmas movies. Let me know what you think of my ranking and the things I had to say. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What are your favorites? And make sure you check out, we have episodes with favorite full episodes of the podcast with favorite Hallmark Christmas, favorite non-Hallmark Christmas. And we've got this and we ranked the series. And then we have coming up next week, we have favorite non-Christmas Hallmark that's going to be posting. So a lot of good end of the year stuff. Plus over on Rachel's reviews, I've got my best and worst and disappointing and everything for for 2024. And I posted that also on Hallmarkies podcast in one long episode, so you can check that out as well. And again, let me know what you think of my ranking. I would love to hear yours, and let me know if you'd like me to do more of these kind of ranking live streams. I would love to. So thanks so much. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Merry Christmas.